State of Play is back, and so are the players. Stephanie Hansen of the law firm of Young, Conaway, Stargett and Taylor, and the Republican on this team, Charlie Copeland of Associates International, a graphic design company. Welcome to the studio again, guys.
Thank you.
We earlier reviewed Governor Markel's career and kind of where he started and where he is now, certain legislations that he's passed. Where do you think he fits in with the governors of, say, the last 50 years?
I think he's doing well. I mean, he has been able to lead the state through probably one of the worst economic recessions since the Great Depression. That being said, you know, he has 3 more years to go, and there is a particular segment that I know is very unhappy with him, and it's a large segment, and I'm talking about the state employees. You know, so I mean, I think at some point. And he doesn't show any indication of kind of going back and beginning to, now that things are turning around a little bit with the economy, to going back and sort of extending an olive branch and patting those folks on the back. I know that, you know, if you'd been in a job for 5 years and hadn't gotten a raise, you'd probably be a little disturbed about that. And not only have you not gotten a raise, but your benefits have been pared away. So, and there is growing discontent with that group, and it's a large group, and you know, that's a problem.
You know, Mike Castle in the story, a Republican, had said he thinks Markel's doing a pretty good job. What do you think, Charlie?
I mean, I think that if I were to grade Jack on his own book from 2007, I would have to give him a D-. All the things that he laid out in the book, all the issues that he laid out. Now, if I had to grade him on given circumstances and other things, maybe I'd give him a C+ range. You know, Jack is a very smart guy who's very capable, and I think because of his own personal ambition, you know, he spent 10 years in the treasurer's office. Well, the treasurer has no job. Why do you spend 10 years in that when you've got the pedigree that he has? Well, because you want to have one of those big jobs. And then to spend 5 years in that big job, really sort of keeping the wheels on, if you will, which is a tough environment to keep the wheels on. But you know, over the last 6-8 months, while the U.S. unemployment rate's been coming down, the Delaware unemployment rate has been going up. So I think that from an economic perspective, he hasn't really delivered what the rest of the country is now starting to see. You look at Race to the Top, which is a great slogan, but the money is now starting to be coming out of the system, and where's the payoff there? So I think there's a great amount of uncertainty for a guy that came in with being intelligent, bright, a good group around him, not Ruth Ann Minner, and what has he done? In my opinion, somewhat he's held the spot, but really hasn't had those bold, aggressive plans that he sort of said, oh, this is what I'm going to do.
Well, what about some of these significant pieces of legislations that he's passed? You know, same-sex marriage is now the law of the land here in Delaware. Background checks, closing the gun show loophole. What do you see?
Well, Delaware has one gun show, so it's not much of a loophole in Delaware. And most of the dealers there are actually federally licensed, which means they have to do a background check anyway. So very, very, the impact of that will be de minimis. Gay marriage, no matter who the governor was, if it were a Democrat governor, you would have had gay marriage. The Delaware had been moving that way anyway. So I think that some of those, he gets credit because he's there. But for the 50% of low-income young people in the city of Wilmington who are unemployed and have been unemployed and have no job prospects, I'm not sure that they actually care about the gun show loophole or the gay marriage issue. What are the issues that affect 80–90% of Delawareans? And those issues have been unaddressed for the most part.
Let's talk about personal ambitions on the governor's side. Now, this is all speculation, of course. Now, he didn't say if he's got his sights set on something down the road. Do you think he is maybe got something in the back of his head of where he wants to be next already?
I think so, because, you know, unlike the Republicans, the Democrats are very top-heavy. You know, we have a lot of very qualified people at the top with not as many spots available. So it's like that game where you go around and take out a chair at every time. There's not enough chairs for everybody that's walking around. So I think he probably does have a spot in mind, probably in Washington, and you know, I think he's going to be very well qualified for it.
What do you think?
I agree. You know, as to elective office, who knows? Because again, the Democrats' problem is they got a log jam up there. The Republicans' problem is they don't have any logs. So what does he do? Right? I mean, in 2016, there is no office up. So he's got to wait till 2018. Then he'd be out for 2 years. And at that point in time, you've got a likely governor in Beau Biden, but you've got John Carney sitting around saying, I've been in Congress for all these years and I can't stand this because I'm the lone guy down here in a minority. And so there are going to be a lot of people looking for that seat. So it'll be an interesting time. But I think he's looking, in my opinion, I have no unique, so it's just complete speculation as a political guy like me, that he's looking for a job in a presidential administration, whether that's a Republican or a Democrat administration. The Republican would like him to be able to say, see, I've got Democrats, and a Democrat would like him because he can say, see, I've got, quote unquote centrist guys on my team.
Well, the DFAC numbers are out. Looks like the budget's going to have a surplus of $21 million. How do you think the money should be spent?
State employees. I'm going back to,
We come full circle.
I hear from a lot. I worked in state government for about 8 years. That was quite some time ago, but there are a lot of people that are in state government, and I interact with them on a regular basis in just my job with the private sector, and it's time to spend some attention looking at them. I also thought it was really curious. I saw the newspaper this morning. Delaware may have a $21 million surplus. Sussex County has a $50 million surplus. Did you see that?
I didn't, but they run their budgets well. Some of the other things they don't run so well, but they run their budgets well in Sussex County.
Yes, they do. So, we should pat our state folks on the back for $21 million, but go Sussex County.
Those are Republicans in Sussex County.
Is that what they're doing?
But the one thing I'll say about the $20 million is Delaware relies in a huge amount at this point in time on the escheat abandoned property, which are generally speaking one-time funds. The large kickers are one-time funds. There's then an annuity that feeds on the backside of that. But one-time money for ongoing operations is a problem. And while state employees, generally speaking, do a nice job, private sector employees in the state of Delaware have had less money in their pocket today than they did 4 or 5 years ago. Our state GDP per capita is going down, not going up, which means that workers across the board are not making. And so to take that money, I think you should pay down debt. We have more debt per person in the state of Delaware on a percentage basis and on a total basis than we have ever had in the history of the state. And that means we're issuing debt to fund operations. And that's a problem. And we should take that money, we should pay down debt so that everybody benefits from it, not just a chosen select few.
Want to talk about on a county level, Newcastle County. They've kind of made some headlines. The county council's there's been a little bit of drama here, both from among council members, also within Tom Gordon's administration. Stephanie, you were in county council for a while. What do you think? Is this unusual behavior?
It's not unusual behavior with this administration. With the last time that the county executive was Mr. Gordon, there was a lot of drama then as well. So no one should be shocked that there's continuing to be, a lot of drama.
And we're talking about kind of a verbal argument between two council members and, also news of a fight between.
A fight. For crying out loud, a fight. Members on county council, and they're talking about let's take it outside and fisticuffs, and no, I'm the one that's supposed to be, letting loose with all the 4-letter words. It's entertaining, but as a taxpayer, I don't want to. I want my government to work. I want these people to work together. Yeah, I like to be entertained a little bit in the paper about little things. It's looks badly on the members on county council. They need to get themselves together, and Mr. Gordon needs to get, the CAO kind of together. It's entertaining, but in a sad way.
Yeah, obviously the members of council and the members of the Gordon administration suffer the same human frailties that are across the population. They just happen to have observers and press and positions that draw some attention, but it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing when you see council persons in the news threatening fisticuffs with one another, and another one saying, well, I'm the one that usually says the 4-letter expletive, so why are you taking my role? Really, whatever happened to civil discourse? Whatever happened to talking the issues out? And you can get emotional about it. You know, when I was in the Senate, I'm sure when you were on council, you'd get emotional about an issue, but that doesn't mean that I was then, you know, lacing my speech with the 4-letter expletives and threatening to take people outside. I mean, that's just, it's childlike behavior. And there's no excuse, you know, when some of the councilmen came out when Grimaldi had his problems and said, oh, well, you know, he's only 30. Only 30? You know, if you said he was 13, I might have gone with that. And the fact that anybody would view any of that behavior as acceptable for public discourse is an embarrassment.
Yeah, not acceptable, but as Stephanie said, definitely entertaining. Okay, we are going to leave it right there, but we're going to pick it up again in another couple of weeks. And who knows where things will be. Stephanie Hansen, Charlie Copeland, thank you so much for being here on State of Play.